It's a normal evening. You're sitting on the couch. Your cat walks over, rubs their cheek against your leg, looks at you with those half-closed eyes, and then, with complete confidence, turns around and plants their tail end directly in your face. Not nearby, not beside you, in your face. Most people laugh it off. Almost nobody stops to ask, why is my cat doing this? And what is it actually trying to tell me? Because it turns out the answer is not what you think, and once you understand it, you will never see this moment the same way again. The most common assumption is that cats are aloof, indifferent, maybe mildly contemptuous. So when a cat turns its back on you, the instinctive read is dominance, a power move. My cat doesn't actually care about me. She's just using me for warmth and food. You've probably heard this. You may have said it yourself. And for years, even animal behaviorists believed a version of it, until they looked more carefully at what cats actually do when they trust someone. Here is the problem with the dominance theory. Cats don't expose their vulnerability to animals they feel indifferent toward. And that tail-raised, hindquarters presented posture? In feline ethology, the scientific study of cat behavior, it is not a power move aimed at you. It is one of the most affiliative social signals in a cat's entire behavioral repertoire. To understand this, you need to understand how cats communicate with each other. Unlike dogs, cats are not pack animals. In the wild, most feline species are solitary hunters, but domestic cats, especially those raised around other cats, do form social bonds. And researchers studying those bonds found something consistent. In 2009, Cafazzo and Natoli published a study in the journal Behavioral Processes, documenting greeting rituals in both feral and domestic cats. Their finding was clear. When two bonded cats approach each other and the interaction is going well, one cat will turn and raise its tail, presenting its hindquarters to the other. This is not a power move to dominate you. It is an affiliative signal, a signal of trust and social belonging. And here is the detail that makes it even more remarkable. Researchers found that this posture is typically directed upward in the social hierarchy. The tail-up greeting is how a cat acknowledges a respected, safe individual above them. It is not performed toward strangers. It is not performed toward cats they fear. It is performed toward those they look up to and feel entirely safe with. Your cat is not just treating you as a companion. In feline terms, it is acknowledging you as a trusted, respected leader. Now here is what makes this even more interesting. Cats carry scent signals around their face, their flanks, and especially around the base of the tail and the anal region. When a cat offers you this view, it is presenting you with a concentrated chemical signature that is reserved for its closest social contacts. In the only language cats have, it is saying, here is everything about me. I trust you with all of it. Research on cat-human relationships, including work by Daniel Mills at the University of Lincoln, who has spent over 2 decades mapping how cats relate to the people they live with, confirms that cats extend many of the same affiliative behaviors to trusted humans that they use with trusted feline companions. They are not treating you differently because you are human. They have placed you inside their social world. Think about what that actually means in practice. The slow blink your cat gives you across the room, that half-closed, unhurried eye contact, is the same signal cats use with each other to say, I am not a threat, I am safe. When you blink back, you are answering in their language. Most people do it without ever knowing what they just said. The cheek rub against your ankle when you walk through the door, that's scent marking, yes, but not territorial in the way people assume. It's the same gesture cats use with animals they have bonded with. They are not claiming you like property, they are including you in their group. And the tail-up greeting, the one that started this whole conversation, is the fullest version of all of it. It is not one signal, it is all of them at once. Your cat is walking toward you with its entire social vocabulary on display. But this isn't just behavioral, it's neurochemical. Cats produce pheromones, chemical signals undetectable to human noses, but processed by a specialized structure in a cat's nasal cavity called the vomeronasal organ, or Jacobson's organ. When stimulated, this organ sends signals directly to the limbic system, the part of the brain that processes emotion, memory, and social bonding. This is the pathway through which cats process social safety, the same system that shapes whether another individual feels like a threat or like home. When your cat presses their face against you, when they slow blink, when they turn and offer you this greeting, they are triggering a neurochemical response that their nervous system has specifically reserved for trusted companions. Now, your cat knows you cannot actually use your vomeronasal organ. Humans likely do not rely on it in any functional way, and yet your cat still performs this greeting for you, because this behavior was shaped long before cats understood human anatomy. When your cat raises its tail and backs toward you, it is running a program that says, "This is my trusted companion. I initiate the bonding ritual." The fact that you respond by laughing instead of sniffing does not cancel the meaning of the offer. The offer itself is the point. Here is something that reframes everything. Dogs were deliberately bred by humans. Humans selected for friendliness, obedience, contact seeking. That process started roughly 15,000 years ago. Cats are different. Cats largely domesticated themselves. Around 10,000 years ago, as human agricultural settlements developed across the Fertile Crescent, grain stores attracted rodents. Rodents attracted wildcats. And the cats that were least afraid of humans had access to the best hunting grounds. They survived. They reproduced. Over generations, they became something new, an animal that tolerates and eventually seeks human proximity. A landmark 2007 study by Driscoll and colleagues, published in Science, traced the genetics of domestic cats back to a single subspecies, the Near Eastern wildcat, Felis sylvestris libica. Unlike dogs, cats were never strongly selected for obedience or affection. They arrived at their bond with us through proximity, mutual benefit, and time, which means that when your cat performs this greeting for you, it is not doing something its genes were forced into. It is carrying forward a choice its entire species arrived at on its own terms over 10,000 years. That is not indifference. That is a decision so old it became instinct. Now, I need to tell you something that could genuinely matter for your cat's health. If your cat has been performing this greeting regularly and one day they stop, don't brush it off as a mood. The tail-raised posture requires physical comfort and a degree of confidence. Cats experiencing pain, particularly lower back pain, arthritis, or anal gland problems, may stop performing behaviors that require full tail elevation, and this kind of behavioral shift can appear before any other visible symptom. Cats are biologically wired to conceal pain and weakness. It is a survival instinct from their days as small prey animals. Sudden changes in social behavior are often the first signal, and sometimes the only one. If the greeting disappears and nothing obvious has changed in your home, a vet visit is worth considering. Your cat cannot tell you something is wrong in words. This is how it tells you. But here is the other side of that. If your cat is still doing this, still walking over, still raising that tail, still choosing to offer you this greeting, that means something too. It means nothing is wrong. It means they feel safe enough to be fully themselves around you. It means that in the quiet language of a species that never had to learn to love us, they are telling you every single day, you are one of the people I chose. So the next time your cat walks over, turns around, and backs its tail end into your face, know what is actually happening. Your cat is performing the oldest, most complete greeting in its language. It is saying, I know who you are. I feel safe with you. You are one of mine. That greeting formed 10,000 years ago when a wild animal first decided not to run and instead moved closer to the fire. Your cat is carrying that moment forward every single time. It is not being rude. It is being as honest as it knows how to be. If this changed how you see your cat, subscribe to the channel and tell me in the comments, does your cat do this? And did you ever actually lean in?